at the end of the day, like, you can't survive if you're not making sales. You really should be talking to your customers and knowing your customers. The community aspect is really important because at the end of the day, yes, you're going to be trying to get new customers, and that is a very important thing. But those returning customers of people who keep coming back and keep wanting to buy things from you because they like you, they like your brand, they like your message, your motive, those people are going to be a little bit more valuable than just one-offs. So I think curating and building that relationship is going to be really important.
Welcome to the DTC Insider podcast, where online business owners come to find actionable tips and tactics to grow their businesses. Now, here's your host, Brian Roisentul.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the DTC Insider podcast. As always, I'm Brian Roisentul, your host, and today I'm joined by Victoria Hana. She's the director of Ecommerce at GFuel, and we'll have an amazing conversation. I'm sure no pressure, Victoria, because they are an amazing brand, and I'm sure there are a lot of things for you to take notes about. So, hey, Victoria, thanks for being here on the pod.
Hey, Brian, thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, how long have you been working at that company?
I've been at GFuel about 3.5 years. Started off as an e-commerce coordinator, and I have worked my way up into being the director. So it's been quite a time.
Nice. So it was 2021, 2022, right? More or less.
Yeah, like right
I'm not
after
that bad at
COVID.
math, I promise, but it was,
Yeah.
the half part probably killed me, if it was 2021, 2022, because a lot has changed. Probably it was pre-iOS 14 or post-iOS 14, right? So everything changed since then, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's like everything D2C online just kind of took off during COVID. And I think that had a huge impact on like the D2C space, e-commerce online, and yeah, so that's kind of where I found myself sliding into it, and here I am now.
And where do you come from? What background do you have before,
So
working at GFuel?
I have a degree in theater.
Wow.
Yeah, in musical
I didn't
theater.
see that coming.
I know. I went to the University of Oklahoma, so Boomer Sooner. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's a conservatory like program, so I didn't just take theater classes, but that was my major, and then yeah, after that I did theater for a while, and then it just kind of didn't work out, and so I found myself going into event planning since I had done that a lot, and then worked my way into systems like coordinating and designing, sort of on the back end and the front end with a healthcare company. From there, COVID happened. So healthcare was kind of took a big hit. It was a dental office that I worked for, so of course people don't want to be poking around in mouths during COVID. From there, I went into apparel, so like mass designing apparel for companies like logo apparel and personalized items like that. And then right after that, I moved into GFuel. So I'm a gamer. So when I saw that they were looking for someone in the e-commerce world, which is kind of where I had found myself, I decided to apply, and it's just gone from there.
Nice. I guess we don't know what is waiting for us around the
Mm-hmm.
corner in life, right? I come
Yeah.
from a background of not theater, but from computer science, and my first company in 2010 was a software factory, and now I own an agency since 2013 in the commerce space. When I joined the agency in 2013 with two partners, I remember that back then it was mainly organic, Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
not even Instagram. It was ads were like just for getting likes,
Yeah.
the right column ads. I remember, and it was like, "Is this working?" Like like I was coding all day long, and all of a sudden I was reporting to clients, "Hey, you got, I don't know, 1,000 likes and 100
What does this
comments," and
mean?
it's like, "Is this really working?" Like what I've been doing, like debugging the code, and like I was like, "Whoa, this is a new world." And then I said,
Yeah.
"Hey, I love this, but I love to bring business results." So that's probably how I got into ecom. But
Well,
yeah,
I have like
it's
a really big background in creative, so like I'm a creative person, and so I think
right,
it just kind of fit.
right.
And then I was good at it, so it yeah, it just ended up working out. And yeah,
And you
you're
said
right. You never know what's gonna land in your lap and where you're gonna go.
exactly. So you said before that back then healthcare took a hit. Is this happening now with e-commerce?
100%, 100%. I think since COVID, people aren't getting money from the government. People aren't getting paid as much. The job market's really difficult. So the economy is kind of really tight, and people are holding on to their dollars. So I think spending in any aspect across the board, not just in nutrition, but in retail, in apparel, in like everywhere. It's a rough go at it right now. So it's I think everyone's trying to do everything they can. Mostly for us, we're focusing on trying to acquire new customers and then kind of stroke their egos a bit and and make them feel good about the company, not always like pushing buy this, buy this, buy this, but like, look who we did a partnership with in the past, or look who we're bringing on, or we're doing a community event. Come out and hang out and get some free stuff. So it's that's kind of where we're trying to go now is more community building. I think that's really important to kind of essentially start from the beginning again. Because yeah, we've lost a lot of people. We've gained some different people, but I think it's overall it has been difficult. Yes.
Yeah. And I was saying this before hitting record, and I will say now for you and for the audience, the goal of this interview, and at least for me, is to probably spark some ideas for those who are listening to this or watching this, why not? And see if, there in this tough context there's something that's working for you that applies to them. Because back in the day, we were, probably Meta back then. Facebook was a money making machine, pre COVID. You put some, I don't know, $1 and you got 10, easy peasy.
Yeah,
It was
definitely
all
not
at
like
the,
that anymore.
yeah,
It's so
at
hard.
the audience level. The creative were just, average, and it makes sense. Like if you have a full theater with your target audience, because the audiences were so laser targeted, you could probably have hold a sign with an average message and it will work, because you have in the front row your target audience. But these days,
Hmm.
audiences are broad. You know how it goes, right? Like so, brands need to go, as we've been discussing here in the over 200 episodes we have recorded so far. It's been a while. It's like they need to go beyond the storefront,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
As you were saying, building community. So I wanted to ask you, what does that mean to you and to GFuel to build
Sure.
community?
Yeah. So we have had an avid community on Discord for a really long time. Um, we just moved over to Social Snowball and have kind of been building out our affiliate program again through that. It's had a really great turnout. Getting more and more people every day. We're able to like give people commissions on sales when we weren't able to previously. Like when we run BOGO sales, we're able to now attribute sales from these creators' codes without giving additional discounts, but then also giving them credit for the sale. So that I think that's kind
Right,
of incentivized them a little bit more, which I mean, obviously in turn helps us. But I think giving back to them because they're literally who made us. They're who we've turned to for years, and it feels good to finally be able to give back to them and give them what they're worth, if that makes sense.
So, so when you say that they gave you guys for years, is that because they are customers, right? Turned into affiliates.
Yeah, both. Yeah. So some of them have been affiliates for 10 plus years.
Oh,
Some have been customers, but yeah, so G Fuel started off as like the, I mean, I would say the original influencer marketing brand. So we have been doing this for a really long time. And I think we took it for granted for a while. And so now it's kind of, we're getting back to our roots and really pushing these affiliates, and it's exciting.
and for those looking to probably starting doing or starting an affiliate program, well, of course, many questions coming on that. But the first one, I guess, is what can they expect? Of course, it depends on many variables, but what can they expect in terms of revenue percentage wise? Like, is it like 1% of total revenue? Is it 10%? How do you judge like if it's successful or not? At least, how do you guys do that at GFuel?
So at G Fuel, we determine if it's successful based on like sessions, and new customer acquisition that come from these affiliates. So in our new platform, we're able to determine this. So we're able to pull what sales have come from whom and when they posted and what they posted, and then we can see what works, what doesn't work, um, and go from there. I mean, I'd have to like dive into the analytics right now.
No, 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 please don't do that. Just at the top of your head, like, would you say that it would be something close to the 1%, to the 10%, 30% of total sales? Like, for those trying to say, hey, is it worth it? I mean,
I think
I'm
it's 100% worth it. I'd say it's probably about, I don't know, 10 to 20% of total sales.
okay, so it could be significant
Depending,
for many months.
yeah. So depending on the season and what's happening at the time, I think it really it does depend. But
And
yeah,
for how do you start building one? Where if I were a brand, consulting about this with you and say, hey, Victoria, how do I start an affiliate program in 2025? Probably not the same way that it was
yeah.
done before, right?
Well, there's a lot of affiliate seeding like programs where you can find people and reach out to them. There's also, if you already have a following, which I would hope people do, which you should in this day and age, that you can
Yeah.
reach out to those people too, and see if any of them would like to be an affiliate. So we've kind of had a page up on our website for a really long time where people can apply, and we'll obviously we vet them. It's not like we just let anyone
Right.
in. I think we used to, back in the day, but not so much anymore. Now we have kind of set parameters on who we allow in and the requirements. So, but I think having it available, easily accessible, like on your website or on your social media or anywhere else, and you're like making announcements about it all the time and making posts about it, and showing the benefits of being an affiliate, I think are all good things to do.
Okay. So now to create like the big picture of the revenue sources for G Fuel, percentage wise, not figures. What could you say are the biggest channels that bring new customers, and of course the biggest channels for retention right now for G Fuel?
I mean, for us, social media is a big one. So Meta and TikTok sometimes. TikTok's a little bit hit or miss. I think if you go viral, it's a hit. If you don't, then it's a miss. Um, our app is a really great channel for us because we have people who can come in and sort of be a member and like feel a little bit more exclusive. that actually takes up about 25% of our total sales. So it's kind of crazy.
Wow. And
Um,
it's something many brands are not doing.
an
Many
app
brands are not
is
doing.
great. It's people. I'm always looking for an app for a store that I like. I'll look for an app and be like, yeah, I'll download that because
And is the
sometimes
app
they'll
a
have
copycat?
yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead, and then I'll
No,
ask
no,
you.
you're fine because sometimes apps will have more discounts or early access to things. That's what we do a lot is we
Right.
offer early access in our app for product launches. Um, but
You know,
yeah,
I
so a lot of our sales though are attributed to organic. So I wouldn't say that one thing does a lot more than another. Um,
right. Just to
but
clarify,
mostly,
just for those listening, like for those in the audience, they have over almost 3 million followers on Instagram, almost 800,000 subscribers on YouTube, 1.4, if I recall correctly, million on TikTok, if I did my homework right. So they have a big following.
and Twitch
But it's
too.
not,
So we have a Twitch channel.
so I recently interviewed, Black Rifle Coffee, and they are big on organic too, and many, like a big portion of their sales come from organic as well. But it's because they, and of course you guys too, invested the time embedded on, on the organic. So what do you do in terms of organic, both short and long form?
Organic meaning like via social media
Yeah.
or search. So we have Google search implemented. Um, we're running paid ads on Instagram and Meta and everything like that. But we're also during launches we're posting about these launches. We're sending out emails. We're sending out SMS. We're sending out push notifications for our app. Um, our our affiliates are talking about us all the time. We do requests. Sometimes we'll request them to do something. Sometimes we don't, and they just do it on their own. We do a lot of one-offs with different creators that I think is a great opportunity to reach different audiences. Um, but that's a lot of what we're doing when we're trying to push organic sales. So we're always pushing out content on our channels in order to reach our current customers.
Right. Let me go back to the app thing for a minute because I discussed with many, founders and directors how they leverage the app. In your case, this is a copycat or a copy or replica of what you have on the website, or it's something that complements the experience. So, for example, brands selling supplements, they use the app to show recipes and other engaging stuff. Beauty brands, the night or day routine and blah, blah, blah to activate customers. What's,
I mean, now you're giving me
uh,
ideas,
sorry.
but
Yeah,
we we mostly use it as a copycat for
right.
sales. We do have like a flavor quiz on there. We have videos on there from our YouTube. So it's not just selling things, but that's mainly what it is. So if someone is a big GFuel fan, they'll download the app, they go in, and it usually shows them what the deal of the day is or what's recently launched, and everything's really easily accessible. They can also access their account, rewards, store credit, and anything else that they would have in their like associated with their email.
I'll go there in a minute, but for now, you tell me: do you have subscribers, right? People can subscribe to your blogs or not?
So we don't have. Yes, we do have subscription. Yes, we do.
Okay, subscription, yeah, sorry. Yes, yeah, email subscribers, no, like a subscription. So whenever yeah, like for those brands that have a subscription as part of the business model, typically that's high, right? In terms of the percentage of total orders. Of course, it depends on the business, but it could be 30%, 50%, or even more. But it depends. But the point is that whenever you have someone subscribed to your products, you need to once they order, you need to activate them, right? And even if they are not subscribed, like if you, let's say, order a supplement or a beauty product or something like that, if you don't use it, you're not going to replenish, right? So
Mm,
apps come in handy, not only email flows, but apps, or let's say more engaging for activating people, because it's not only a reminder with the text or something. You're actually showing them in an engaging way, in a visual way, ways to use the products that they bought from you,
hmm.
right?
Yeah, and we
So
also have the like with our subscription program, as you said, like if they aren't out yet, they would skip, but we also offer the opportunity for them to swap it for something else. So they want to
right.
try a different flavor, they could grab a different flavor instead of the same one. So they do have options, and that's how we try to keep them instead of pushing them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about subscriptions. I want to go there, but more in depth in a few minutes from now, if that's okay. But before
Sure.
that, I wanted to know more or less. We already covered that it's not easy these days. Nothing's easy, right? And even less in the DTC space. And you have a tough job ahead, as a director of e-commerce. So, what are you, let's say, obsessed with right now? What do you measure? Let's say you start your day, you open your laptop. What do you measure to see whether things are moving in the right direction or not?
I'm looking at returning customers percentage. I'm looking at sessions over time, and then mainly, I think, as we're all looking at, is gross sales. So like every day, where we're kind of living, so kind of the average, as opposed to when we're running a promotion or a launch. Like, are we seeing that go up? Are we seeing it go down? Is it consistent? What can we do to raise it? Um, but if we do see that returning customer percentage going up, that means that we're retaining people, which is great. And people are coming back. Because we love to have that LTV go up. That means we're getting consistent customers and people who want to continue purchasing, not just for collaborations, but because they like the brand.
So my head is spinning because I love what you're saying. Because believe it or not, you might be wondering, Brian, what did I say? I didn't say anything crazy, but you did, because most people I talk to, regardless of their role, directors, founders, they are obsessed. And I mean, really, really obsessed with new customers. It's all about new customers. And I get it, that's important, but they neglect all the other part. And you didn't mention new customers. That doesn't
I
mean you don't
didn't.
care about
It,
them,
it, it is
but
pushed on me. It is pushed on me, and it is something I do think of. But I right now I'm really trying to what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, earlier I said stroke their egos, but I'm really trying to be nice to our returning customers, because they're the ones who are coming back and continuing to spend money.
you know, the other day I was talking to Jeremy Horowitz. Formerly he was a gorgeous.
Okay.
He's now, buying business. He owns a company called Let's Buy a Biz, and they buy, some businesses and all kind of stuff. So he's well known in the DTC space, I would say. So hi, Jeremy, if you're listening to this. But he was saying, like, when we were talking about, new customers versus returning, because I was telling him something about my agency. He said, like, returning customers is like eating vegetables. Everyone knows it's healthy, but nobody wants them. It's like everyone wants new customers, because everyone is so obsessed about new customers, and nobody talks about this. And we discussed this with Neil Goyal as well. He's a friend of the house. Like 2 to 3 times I interview him on the pod, and he says the same thing. Like, acquiring new customers is really important, but
Yes.
if they come through the door to never come back, then what's
Yeah.
the point?
Then what's
So
the point? Exactly.
you were one of the first, I could say, I could dare to say you're one of the first director of e-commerce or marketing or whatever role in the last year or so to keep new customers from the top priorities and see, that. So I'm super curious. So what do you measure about the customer journey? Let's say, let's see, besides the returning customer rate, do you measure anything else about the journey since from the point they buy the first time and the rest, future purchases?
Yeah, so we're diving a little bit more into it now, but we recently had a big conversation about our hydration products because we have two separate types of hydration products, and we wanted to see who was possibly just a new customer just buying once and then going away, who was someone who was a returning customer who originally purchased one type of hydration but then moved into another, or they started at one, tried the other, but then went back to the original one. Um, a lot of things like that. So a
Right.
lot of customer cohort analysis of like who's buying what and why and when. Because originally it's like we see people purchase and then they wouldn't purchase again for I don't know 2 or 3 months, but I think it's because the serving sizes that we offer and people aren't drinking it every day. Um, but yeah, what was the question again?
No, no worries. You answered that. So how do you know the why they
How do we
don't
know the
come back
why?
or
Oh,
they
that's
come
that's
back?
right. That's right. So we send out customer surveys a lot when we launch new products, seeing like what they liked about something, what they didn't like, um, and yeah, sometimes it's a guess because you don't. At the end of the day, you don't really know. But I think sending out these surveys and asking people what they like and don't like and why they didn't come back um, why they didn't purchase, I think is valuable information because you're getting it straight from the source. And we have post purchase surveys, but it's like customers don't reach that until after they purchase. But it's like I want to know if you didn't purchase, why didn't you purchase?
So yeah, I think zero party data, or in other words, data coming from customers that is not aggregated numbers like real data you can read and interpret, like surveys and
Yeah.
talking to customers. It's something valuable that not many brands are implementing these days. Everyone is so obsessed, like everyone is so obsessed with new customer acquisition. And again, it's fine, but they're obsessed about that only. Many are obsessed with attribution and attribution only, and they neglect the information coming from customers. Oh,
Hmm.
they are churning like the subscription, the subscribers, like people who are subscribed to products. I don't know how to say that. They are churning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. But why? I don't know. Let's give them a discount to see if they don't churn anymore. Wait,
Yep.
like let's analyze that. So one
Let's
way
give them
that
something free. Let's give them a bigger discount. Yeah. So
like
it's like the
well,
the churn from like order one to order two is like
yeah, so
insane.
you could be surprised or not. But I was many times until I wasn't, unfortunately, to know that many brands don't know anything. And I mean anything. And I'm talking about well established brands about their customers once they bought the first time. They don't know that the average time for them to come back, the CAC payback period. They don't know if they churn, why they churn, the products they buy after they bought the first one. So that's something that the other day I interviewed Curtis Matsko. For those, I mean, if you don't know him or in the audience don't know them, he built Portland Leather Goods. Portland Leather Goods is, I think it's 400 million or 300 million company, the fastest growing leather company in North America. And the guy's hilarious. He he's well versed and he's super direct and straightforward. And he said that the first question I asked him, and I was laughing with him later about that, is, what was the one thing that made them grow to that? And he said, there's no one thing.
Yeah.
We need to be like, but he almost probably hung up, but he didn't. So he said, like, brands these days need to be efficient everywhere they can. So if we zoom in and say, hey,
And things
retention.
happen so fast too.
Yeah, so retention, let's zoom in there. There are many things to focus on. As you said, those who are not subscribed, okay, what's if they are returning or not? What's the subscription take rate? What's the churn? And let's, fight those battles separately and let's try to improve 1% in all of them. If that's important, let's try to boost AOV in X percentage. Let's try to
Hmm.
decrease the time between purchase in X percentage. So those are the battles that probably many brands are not fighting, but I think there's one common reason, that is they are not collecting the data in the first place. They don't know.
Yeah.
So we, for
We have a lot
example,
of things that collect data for us. So there's
yeah.
a lot
So
of information out there.
yeah, I mean, if it gives you ideas or the audience, because you might be probably doing this, like we use Lifetimely. I have no affiliation with
Mhm.
them. I should probably by now, but we get, not only
We
what
use
they,
Lifetimely, we use Back in Stock, and we use Upsell. So all
that's
three.
amazing. So it's great because you not only see, what people buy over time, the time between purchases, you can see actually the highest LTV products or product types or SKUs or
Yeah.
whatever, right? And you can see that, I don't know, if people buy X product or X variant in the first order, they are, I don't know, 3X more likely to have an LTV of X time higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So probably that's the battle we need to fight, because in the end, you're spending money on ads. You can tweak the creative as much as you want, but there's only so much you can do these days. But we can
Yeah.
talk about that in a minute. But sorry, I
Mm.
get so obsessed and excited about this, as you can tell, because everyone is worried about, meta ads, cost increasing, but that's a reality. You can tweak a few little here's, like a few things here and there, but it won't create the next unlock for your business.
Yeah. I think it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, it's more expensive. It brings in new customers. But then the people who are already with us kind of I guess mitigate the pain. So to say. But I think it's doing pretty well for us overall. We're constantly running ads. It gets kind of difficult sometimes because a lot of things are very IP based, like intellectual properties. And so we can only post specific things and the way things look, just like based on guidelines. So sometimes that's a little difficult. And then we'll only get new customers based on that intellectual property as opposed to people who would want to purchase and continue to purchase. Um, so it can get expensive. I think what's the word? I can't even think right now. Like our customer acquisition cost, our CAC is where our goal is around, I don't know, $35, $45. So we've been taking that down. It was pretty high for a while. I think it's been a little difficult just across the board with Meta. People are on TikTok a lot. People don't have Facebook anymore. People don't have Instagram anymore. And I think a lot of people are moving away from social media as a whole just because of the environment and the way it's taken over our lives. So what do we do after that? We do a little bit of retail. So we're in like we're in CVS. We have some of our stick packs in CVS. So we sell hype sauce and sage mode. Um, the way we push that is through social. So we haven't pushed it anywhere like on paper. But yeah, so we're in CVS. We have a couple of grocery stores. We used to be in Target, Walmart, all of those guys, but we kind of pulled back a bit. And I think the market just kind of got slammed with energy supplement, like ready to drink cans, anything like that. So it's just a lot of competition. And then it wasn't doing as well as we would have hoped, and so we pulled back, and now we're kind of starting to roll it out again. And I think it's doing a lot better this time around. I'm not super involved in the retail side, but I'm excited to see where it goes. Yeah, we're in TikTok shop begrudgingly. No, it's a great channel. I think it's just really difficult to work with sometimes because the algorithms are wild and all people want when they're on TikTok shop is deals and where can they get the best deal? And then it's like, how much do I have to discount this product in order for someone to buy it? And then the back end is sometimes a little bit difficult to navigate. However, once it's ready and it's set up, it's sort of almost like a set it and forget it, except for like affiliate seeding and sending people samples and having them make posts for you and things like that. So I think I mentioned earlier something about like virality on TikTok Shop. Like that's when we see success, is when something goes viral. So I think it was sometime last year. We have a product with Fallout. We have Nuka Cola, and that when the TV show launched, it sales for it went through the roof. Like it was crazy, and we ran out. And so it was like, now what do you do? Because it's like you never know when something like that's going to happen, and then you're out of product, and then you can't get more for 10 weeks. And so yeah, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I think it's a good channel that we're going to keep building. They've had a lot of turnover recently, TikTok Shop themselves, and so I think it's kind of been difficult to continue on the path with like your representative or the person that's helping you out. Um, but I'm hoping. Yeah, yeah. So we used to go live a lot more, and the only times we've really seen big movement with going live is when we're live for like 5 hours. So it's like the algorithm pushes people who are on longer, not people who are just there for 30 minutes and then leave. So it's like people who are there and consistently on and just live. And yeah, so we're trying to start doing that again. It's hard to find people who want to sit there for 5 hours and talk about products, but it's like QVC.
Exactly. So my question, I guess, after all that is, what do you look for in an agency, or what does a brand like GFuel value from an agency that you don't get in-house, and that goes beyond, if there's something beyond,
Yes, we do
doing paid
both.
ads anyway?
I think sometimes working with an agency can be easier, less inexpensive, or more inexpensive than hiring someone in house. However, I am a big advocate and a big fan of having a fully in-house team, just because there's nothing like it. You have these people who are working with you day in and day out, 9 to 5, that know the brand, that know what's going on. And sometimes I feel like agencies just don't. So it's like we want them to, and they try, and then sometimes it just doesn't work out. That does not mean that I don't love the agencies that we're working with and the strides that we're making with them. But I'm always going to choose to have someone in house as opposed to an agency. We're working with a dev agency right now, just because we did a whole new website, and so they assisted us with that, and so we've had them on retainer since the launch. We have an agency that assists us with our paid media as well as emails, SMS. But we have someone in house who is managing them. So we have like a senior paid media manager who works with them constantly. Um, and yeah, but yeah, personally, I like in house.
Yeah, I think there are ups and downs, like everything. Of course, having someone in house is someone you can build a personal relationship or work relationship with. You can see them every day. They're available full time for you. But of course, on the flip side, agencies see many stuff. I mean, they see more movies, they watch more movies, they work with more brands, right? So they can spot trends or changes or be up to date with something that's going on in this space faster than someone that is only watching one movie. So yeah, probably the downside is that they're not exclusive to the brand, and of course, the upside is what I just mentioned, right?
I think we really value if they understand our business like at its core. Like, yeah, we're trying to sell things, but like, who are we trying to sell to? What do we do? What's our background? Do they know anything? Because I mean, yeah, it's kind of like a job interview when you're talking to agencies, and what can you offer me that somebody else can't, or what are you good at, like what's your niche, and I guess kind of thing. So that's kind of what we look for. And also it's the people too. So it's not just what can you do for me? It's do I get along with you? Do we have a good relationship, a good rapport, someone that I'm going to want to talk to and work with for the foreseeable future, you know?
And probably one of the last questions that I have for you, and I said this in the beginning, and it wasn't lying, is that I probably have 20 more questions for you, but I will choose this one because I think it's really important for today's context, and is that how do you plan internally, let's say, the marketing calendar, and what's the level of importance or how important it is to you? And before you answer, I'll say why I'm asking. And it's because many brands these days just wing it. They say, oh, we'll launch a product tomorrow, or hey, let's do an ad of these, or let's do a discount. They don't have an annual plan. They don't have not even a 90-day roadmap. They don't have uh, you know a way to create their own sales pitch. So how do you do that?
It's funny. It's funny that you say that because it's that I'm always under the impression that everyone else has all these things done except for me. So it's nice to know that I'm not the only one that's scrambling at the last second sometimes. No, so we did kind of get into a rut where that was happening. So it was like we were only planning maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in advance, and it gets really difficult because you're working with intellectual properties and you're trying to make sales, and so at the end of the day, like you can't survive if you're not making sales. So that that now I'm trying to I'm actually getting the time, and like I actually have the time to sit down and plan out what our calendar is looking like. So I'm done with September at this point, which I wasn't able to do before just because I think our team got so small, and a lot of things were on a lot of people's plates, and now we're finally getting back to a place where we can take the time to do the work and get things planned out in advance. And I think it's really valuable because then people aren't scrambling around, people aren't stressed out. It makes quality of life across the board just so much better. But it's kind of been my goal to do this and get out of this rut, I think, of trying to do things at the last minute. Like, yes, sometimes you're going to need to push something at the last second in a month so you can hit your goal, but I'm going to have 2 or 3 things that I've already planned that I can slot in if we need it. And that's kind of where my head's at right now. Is we're planning into Black Friday, Cyber Monday right now. We're doing product testing and flavor R&D just to see where we're going to go for that. Promotions are planned through the year. We've already got some partnerships on the calendar for next year, which I'm really excited about, that we're all kind of working together to move towards a better future. So yeah, yeah, so that we can all just kind of relax and not have to worry. But I mean, we're always going to worry, but you know.
Victoria, again, it was a pleasure having you here in the show. But before we go, I wanted to thank you in the audience, for listening, for watching this always. And make sure to go to the DTCinsider.com and find the podcast. And once you find the episode, it's a lot of steps, I know, but once you find the episode on the website, you will see the show notes, including the social handles that Victoria is going to give you in a minute, for both for the company and for you. So, Victoria, why don't you tell the audience where they can find more about you, maybe on LinkedIn or on any other platform, and where they can go to find more about the company.
So yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I am also on Instagram at La Vida V, so like La Vida Loca, except VEE. um, I post every once in a while. I'll do articles and stuff on LinkedIn and chat with people there. So if you want to add me, feel free to add me. But yeah, my Instagram is private, so if you message me and just say, "Hey, this is where I'm from," I should be able to add you. But yeah, and then if you ever want to, yeah, right. So if you ever want to check out GFuel, it's just gfuel.com. Instagram, everything's mostly at GFuel Energy. And yeah, so I think that's it. Thanks, Brian.
This episode was brought to you by BSR Digital. We help DTC brands grow through paid ads and email marketing campaigns. If you'd like us to help your business grow, head on over to bsrdigital.com and schedule a call with us.